Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where I was just taking a little bit of a look around, and I was looking at where the majority of our gold mines currently are, or rather, gold fields, but there's also a couple of gold mines up over here, and I was noticing that we are definitely having some market access issues here. So what I've done is I've just gone into our railway and subsidized it. That's going to cost us some money, but we'll see how much, and we definitely do want to get that problem solved. So we're going to be finishing up 2 additional gold mines very soon. Those are going to be up over here, and the railway here is relatively fine-ish. So that's fine for the moment. Let's continue to work forward on this, and we are turning a surplus at this point. That is very good. We're relatively consistently running a surplus. We're going to continue to expand our economy for a little bit here, no doubt about that, but we do need to be paying down our debt. Absolutely, that does need to happen. So we're going to finish up these gold mines right now. That's great. And we're working on these iron mines and these explosive factories. Coal is currently also expensive, so I would like to get a few coal mines going. I'm going to queue up, that was 6. I intended to queue up 5 coal mines. However, these are negative construction efficiency due to turmoil. Okay, so we're going to move up these guys first and give that a little bit of extra time to tick down the construction efficiency reduction. It's only 12.4%, which isn't too bad, but for now, we'll do this. Okay, so we're currently sitting at a surplus of about 5,000. Obviously, that's not very high. And we definitely want that surplus to continue to come up. No doubt about that. It will as we continue to produce more things, but it'll take some time. Economies definitely are kind of slow to grow. This railway in Kuban is being built. Okay, that is noted in our private constructions. Then we see some tooling workshops being built. Okay, tools aren't all that much expensive. They're only about 8% above the median price right now, so that's not too bad. But sure, we can have more tools. I mean, we'll need them eventually, so that's okay. We are definitely seeing our finances improve here. No doubt about that. And our interest payments will slowly start to go down, which is very good. We definitely want our interest payments to reduce. So for the time being, this is all looking good. The coal mines are down to 12.6%. Okay, that will continue to go down from law enforcement, right? 24 weeks. Okay. It will go down somewhat from law enforcement, but not a huge amount. Cool. So that's looking reasonably fine. Our economy is definitely trending upwards. So what do we have that's currently considered expensive? Ammunition? That mildly surprises me. Why is it flagging ammunition as being expensive? That can scale up, if I recall correctly. We don't need more munitions plants. If we check in at Moscow, yeah, we've got tons of room in our munitions plants, so that can scale up no problem. The real issue here is the price of explosives, and a little bit of lead, actually. So we can deal with that lead issue, no doubt about that. In Kuban, we could toss in additional lead mines, something along the lines of this. And if we were going to do that, what I'd want to do is something kind of like this. So we'd work on our explosives factories, and what do those take as input? Fertilizer, paper, and sulfur. Okay, noted. None of those are tremendously expensive at this moment, so that's relatively fine. Let's get the explosives factories finished. We're going to get these that we had already progressed on finished. And then we're going to work on these lead mines and coal mines, is the idea. Although we might want to prioritize what few railways remain. There's only 3 beyond here. And most of these are going to have construction efficiencies affected by terrain. Not this one, but the other 2 do. So let's just move these railways up and get those railways dealt with. But I want to certainly do the explosives factories first. Actually, let's just do this for now. Something along the lines of this. Okay, let's get that underway. Our surplus is up to 12.8k. That looks solid. That looks absolutely solid. Ironclads are currently expensive. Now, we do have military shipyards that I believe in Ingria and in Rostov. Okay, so in Rostov, I want to check in. Okay, this is at about half employment, so that's not really a concern. And then in Ingria was the other location. Where is Ingria? Ingria is here. Okay, St. Petersburg. Gotcha. So that's absolutely fine. And I wanted to check in on the military shipyards here. Full employment. Okay. We can scale up in Rostov, so I think for the moment, that's relatively okay. We do see a paper mill being expanded in Ingria in our private constructions. I like this because we know that our explosives industry are going to at least somewhat drive up the demand for paper. So that sounds absolutely good to me. And we're going to have these explosives factories done in a relatively soon fashion, but it's not going to be for a little bit. It's going to take some time for that investment to come through. That's okay. No problem whatsoever there. We are up to 14k finances now. And how are we doing on this? 5 weeks? Okay. I'm just watching our bureaucracy dwindle away here. And I'm thinking, we're not going to go negative, are we? We might. It's down to 3 weeks, 2 weeks. No, I don't think we will. I think it'll be kind of close, but I don't think we're quite going to go negative on the bureaucracy. So I don't think we need to move up any of these government administrations just yet. We do have these that are fairly high up in the queue and already in progress, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Okay, so we have some explosives factories finishing. That will have some ripple effects through... Oh, hello. Institutional. Sure. We already had that achievement, of course, but I guess we'll get it. Absolutely fine. Servicemen becoming more loyalist in Ingria, huh? Sure, we'll take some loyalists. We could absolutely use some. Our loyalists are not doing so well. I mean, we've got some kind of crushing taxation going on right now, right? No doubt about that. It's not doing well on that front. We need to be at 36.2k to drop our taxes. That said, we are paying off our paying off our debt at a relatively high rate now. So that is good. That's very, very good. And our high level of policing will help that situation somewhat. So for the time being, we're just going to leave this be. We're paying off our debt as quickly as we can. North Caucasian people are migrating from our country to Kerman. Okay. Not necessarily ideal, but for now, whatever. So we're finishing up our railway in Armenia as of now. That looks good. And these are, of course, going to kind of be cost centers for the time being. And so that's not necessarily ideal, right? But we do need to get our market access up, particularly in Armenia. How are we doing on that railway there? Okay, this was just built, and it is beginning to employ up. So that looks good. If we look at our market access here, we don't need a lot of infrastructure to boost up that market access. So that sounds good. However, the famine is gone, isn't it? Yes, it is. That means that we can get rid of our emergency relief. Fantastic. Which also means that we can put in a consumption tax. So I want to go into our budget and put in, for the time being, a consumption tax on fine art. That'll boost up our income by 3k, which is not bad. That's a 10% boost. So we're very happy about that. This government administration is going to finish in 1 week, and it's done now. Okay. So we're going to slow down our construction here a little bit as we work through the remaining railways. And of course, this is not going to completely solve our transportation shortages. We're going to need to continue to work on those. But this is going to alleviate them somewhat. I want to make sure that we do have a railway queued up in every single one of these. We do not have one queued up in Azerbaijan. Okay, what is the cause of the construction efficiency here? The Caucasus Mountain Range. Okay, so that's not going to improve. We can queue that up right at the top of the list. That's going to take 40 weeks to get done. Yeah. I mean, that's reasonably understood. We should probably... Well, all of these are going to be... This is down to 8% at this point. Okay. I don't like what we've got going on here for our construction inefficiency in some of these areas. In Gotland, this is caused by turmoil. Okay. In Kiva, this is caused by turmoil. Okay. That's reasonably fine. But this does mean, of course, that we are not building at peak efficiency. But we do want to get these done. So I think what we'll do is we'll move up these lead mines, which will build faster, and will be profit centers as opposed to cost centers. So we'll just do something kind of like this. It will be slow, but we'll just do something like that. And then we can move up government administrations to intersperse in here and get some work done on some of this. So it'll end up being... Where are you? Yeah, this is correct. It'll end up being something kind of like that. Okay, we do still have a lot of unrealized taxes that we'd like to harvest, but we're not going to harvest them at 100% efficiency, right? So that is definitely a bit of a concern. We see a food industry and a vineyard being built in our private constructions. That's fine. We're completely okay with that. So that looks good. We're going to finish up another explosives factory in 6 weeks here, and a government administration in 3. And then after that, we've got a pretty big chunk of negative construction efficiency. So over in Kuban, our turmoil is slowly dropping. No doubt about that. But we're definitely going to want to be thinking about cutting taxes relatively soon, if we can. That would be absolutely ideal. 20.3K in interest. So our interest payments are definitely reducing every single week. They're not reducing by 100 per week yet, which is sad. But we would definitely like to be hitting that target. Reducing by what, about 50 right now? Let's see what happens on this month's tick. Okay, it's more like 75. Yeah, it's about 75 or so per week. So somewhere in there, like 60 to 70, something along those lines. It's not phenomenal, but it is making progress. I mean, we have a lot of debt built up, right? No doubt about that. And we absolutely do need to focus on our economy to handle that. So lead mines are going to be done in about 5 weeks here, or rather our first round of them. And we do see these railways very slowly progressing. Wow, 13,000 weeks to complete this one. Well, that's because of the low efficiency, right? There's no doubt about that. 0.09 construction. If we moved it up, it would be faster. That is understood. We produce 133 construction right now, but it's reduced by our construction efficiency. So, yeah, this is expected behavior at this time. Did it just drop again? Okay, 7.8 construction efficiency now. That is good. 12.1 in Gotland. Yeah, we'll get these finished up eventually here. And we are paying down this debt at a quasi-reasonable rate at this point. So this is absolutely fine. We've been able to continue to construct this entire time, which is good, but it does mean that we've been in debt for longer, which is probably okay, all things considered. We are seeing dynamite finishing in 6 months, which is good. And we're also currently at 0 infamy. Do we want to think about a simple war somewhere? Potentially. But what would a simple war look like with the people that we're neighboring at this point? Japan? Maybe. Persia? I mean, that would be a pretty simple war. It'd be relatively expensive, though. And I would want something, ideally, at this point, that we'd be able to fight with our National Guard. How much would it cost if we were to mobilize these guys? This says the estimated cost per week of the goods, but it doesn't say how much our military wages would be. Well, that is definitely a little bit of a concern. No doubt about that. The question would be one of cost. Not whether we could do it or not. I want to check to see, are these guys... Okay, they have a defensive pact with the Ottoman Empire now. And allied with Afghanistan. So the target would be Afghanistan. The Ottoman Empire we're not too concerned about, but that would mean a larger war, right? So we really can't afford a larger war at this moment. There's no doubt about that. So I think we need to continue to construct for a bit here. The gentry are trying to pass legal guardianship again. Come on, guys. What a bunch of nerds. Very rude of them. We're working on paying off our debt, though, and it's going at a reasonable rate. We're down to 12.7 million in debt, paying 19.5k in interest. It's not the biggest interest payments in the world, for sure. What we're mostly concerned about isn't necessarily the interest payments, it's about entering default if we go into a big war. That's the concern here. We don't want to enter default in a war. That's for sure. So at this point, we are continuing to work our way here. Azerbaijan will finish its railway in 5 weeks. That is good. Okay, I want to see how much are we putting into subsidies. Only 112. Noted. And do we still have low market access? Okay. Armenia, Norland is at 30%. Moscow's at 98, Armenia's at 97. Okay, let's take a look at Armenia here. This is just due to not employing the railway. Let's subsidize that. Norland, what do we got going on here? This is due to not employing the railway. And again, we could think about... There's just not enough people here, right? Right, there's just not enough people in Norland. Standard of living here is struggling. Mostly because market access is low. And we have medium migration attraction here. We still have 88 turmoil, which is a lot of turmoil. For an incorporated state, no less, that we've had for a while. Do we want to just give this back to Sweden? After all, they are loyal to us. That might not be the worst idea here. So we could give them back Norland. And they would probably do better with it than we do with the current law setup right now. It would still be under our control because Sweden is our vassal. So I think this is okay. Let's give them Norland. And there we go. Now they can deal with that. And we don't have to deal with Norland. So that looks good. So now we've got Armenia, which just ticked up. And then we've got Moscow, which probably needs a railway due to low infrastructure here. I'm willing to bet that this is maxed out. It is. So we definitely do need to build a railway in Moscow. We'll get that queued up on top. And we're finishing up our railway in Azerbaijan now. That looks good. And we only have a few more railways to build here. Yeah, this looks absolutely fine. So we're going to get another lead mine finished up soon enough. And then the question is, now that we're at we were at a 40 million GDP, how are we going to handle a potential war down here? Now, if we were to go for Afghanistan, we have unavailable plays targeting states due to a lack of interest in Persia. I feel certain that we put in an interest in Persia. Also... Oh, wooden passenger carriages to cargo prioritization. Right, this is fine. That's absolutely okay. I don't mind that. And we are working on incorporating both of these. But what I wanted to do was go into the diplomatic lens and put an interest in Persia. That'll take some time to establish, and that's okay. Let's get that put in. Beautiful. So, I'm definitely interested in attacking over here. Wait, is Afghanistan within Persia? It is. Okay. Good to know. So I'm definitely interested in attacking down over this way, taking over Afghanistan and or Persia. If we were to hypothetically do a, make protectorate, that would be 52.3 infamy for Persia. So that wouldn't be a worthwhile thing. Afghanistan, on the other hand, that might not be a bad idea. So we just unlocked dynamite, and that is, of course, a pretty big deal. That's a lot of production methods that we just unlocked. We also just got baking powder. Fascinating. So at this point, I want to think about potentially going for steam donkeys. Let's get that going. Okay. And then I want to hop into our buildings here, and we can look at these production methods. So I'd like to go to mechanized looms. We do know that that will drive up the price of tools, which is, I think, okay. We'll do that for now. Baking powder is excellent. Do it. I would love to go to bone china, but we don't actually need porcelain, so we're not going to do that. Vacuum evaporation sounds good. We are going to need more explosives here. And yes, I'm aware that currently that demand does not exist. Repeating rifles will be absolutely fine. Tool price will go up. Steel price will go up sharply. Noted. Munitions plants. Absolutely, we want to drive up the cost of explosives here. So ammunition, yep, that all looks good. Then we've got the Arts Academy here, which I guess could go to realist art, and bourgeoisie patronage? Sure, that's fine. And then beyond that, we would be interested in going for dynamite instead of nitroglycerin and getting rid of that mortality rate. That would be absolutely great. This will cost more explosives, which we expect, because we are upgrading our explosives factories simultaneously. Oh, and we're not on rail transportation either for gold mines. Let's do that, since we're nearly done completing our railway network. Our initial railway network. Okay, so something along the lines of that should do for the moment. That is likely to create some issues. I'm going to preempt some steel mills here because we almost certainly are going to need those. I'm going to do 3 steel mills, and we see there's one being built in private construction as well. I'm going to move up any of these that we've already progressed on. Yeah, this is going to finish in 1 week, so that seems relatively fine. Okay, our Persia interest has been activated. Sounds great. And what do we have for major issues here? Currently, none that we're seeing. Okay. Oh, City of Plenty, indeed. I want to check in on our steel mills that exist in Moscow right now. They're up here. So, let's see. Okay. Yep. We definitely need to expand this. Booming Industries has been successfully completed. Good. So, do we want mining production, probably? Yep. Let's do it. That'll be fine. So we're going to be working on these steel mills. They're relatively slow to build, but that's understood. So these 3 railways are going to be finishing up soon-ish. No doubt about that. And our finances are improving a lot at this point. When do we want to cut taxes? That is something we need to start thinking about at this time. The answer is probably reasonably soon. We definitely want to deal with these transportation shortages in these local areas. No doubt about that. I'm reasonably certain that all of these, other than perhaps Moscow, we've already gone through and upgraded to wooden carriages. Yeah, let's bump Moscow up to wooden carriages for now. That'll be fine. So I want to check through all of these and make sure that they are upgraded to wooden carriages. Okay, so this guy here needs subsidies. Saratov, let's take a look. Yep, wooden carriages. Okay. Yakutsk. Already subsidized. Okay. And not on wooden carriages. So let's move over to wooden passenger carriages. Then over here, we can go to wooden passenger carriages. Tajikistan, we can already be on wooden passenger carriages, so really this is going to need a railway upgrade. If we still have an input goods shortage of transportation, we're going to need another one here. I'm not sure when we want to do this. We'll think about that in a moment. So in Kuban, we can take a look here. We've already got 2 levels, and we're already on wooden passenger carriages. We don't need to subsidize this. Let's just bump that up another level. In Uzbekia, what do we got going on? Similar situation. That just needs to get upgraded. In Turkmenia, this needs to be subsidized, and let's move it to wooden passenger carriages. In Khiva, subsidized, wooden passenger carriages. Bryansk. This needs an upgrade, so we'll expand that. In Tver, what do we got going on? This needs to be expanded. In Kazan, this needs an expansion and wooden passenger carriages, probably both. What else do we have here? So this railway is queued. We'll get there. Okay. This railway probably could use a subsidy. Well, we're at full cash reserves. This should be hiring up. This is maybe just not having enough workforce here. No, there's plenty. So I think this recently finished. I don't think we need to worry too much about that one right now. And in Transbaikal, we're going to need an upgrade. So we'll expand some of these. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to move these guys up. Something like that. So that's a number of railways that are going to need expansion, but we do need to get those done to finish up these local input shortages. We do see a number of these getting improved, so that looks good. We are working our way through that queue. No doubt about that. And we're working our way through this deficit. We're definitely seeing much better income at this time. So that looks great. At this point, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to pay down our debt and definitely think about attacking Persia/Afghanistan, maybe just Afghanistan for now. Although Persia will join in, we might not actually get any demands against them. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.